No one will disrespect you ever. The 11 Buddhist lessons that transform how you live. Have you ever met someone who didn't need to demand respect? They simply had it. They didn't shout, they didn't prove, they didn't chase approval. Their very presence made others pause. There was calm in their words and quiet strength in their silence. That kind of respect doesn't come from fear. It comes from inner alignment. And the path to that alignment isn't about power or control. It's about mastery of the self. It's what ancient Buddhist teachings call the way of presence. In this journey, we'll explore 11 timeless Buddhist lessons, teachings that, when practiced, make you someone others naturally respect, trust, and look up to. Not because you demand it, but because you embody it. Lesson 1. Mindfulness, the power of being fully present. The first lesson is simple, but it changes everything. Be here. Most people live caught between regrets of the past and worries of the future. Their bodies are here, but their minds are miles away. They walk, but they don't feel the ground beneath them. They listen, but they don't hear. They breathe, but they don't notice that they're breathing. Respect begins with presence, because when you are fully here, others feel it. Mindfulness is not about sitting in silence all day or forcing your thoughts to stop. It's the gentle act of returning, again and again, to this very moment. It's as simple as feeling the weight of your feet when you walk, listening to someone without already planning what to say next, taking one conscious breath before reacting. The Buddha taught that mindfulness is the path to liberation, not just from suffering, but from illusion. Because when you are truly present, you stop being controlled by fear, by memory, by impulse. You see clearly. You respond instead of reacting. You move with grace instead of tension. When you meet someone like that, calm, grounded, aware, you feel respect for them without a word being spoken, because presence is silent authority. Lesson 2. Compassion, the strength of a kind heart. Many people mistake kindness for weakness, but in truth, compassion is one of the greatest powers a human being can possess. Compassion is not pity. It's understanding. It's looking beyond the surface of another person and seeing their humanity, even when they can't see it themselves. When someone is angry, compassion asks, what pain are they carrying? When someone is cruel, compassion whispers, they have forgotten their own goodness. You don't have to agree with someone to be compassionate toward them. You only have to remember that, like you, they are trying to navigate the storms of life. Compassion doesn't mean letting people walk over you. It means you can stand firm without hatred. It means you can speak truth without cruelty. The Buddha said, hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal law. When you practice compassion, you shift from being reactive to being wise. You stop fighting every battle and start understanding which ones matter. You stop needing to prove yourself because love no longer feels like weakness. It feels like freedom. True respect is born from compassion, because when people feel understood, even silently, they can't help but feel drawn to your presence. Lesson 3. Impermanence, the wisdom of letting life flow. Everything changes. Everything. The seasons, the tides, your body, your thoughts, your relationships, your dreams, all of it flows like a river. We suffer not because life changes, but because we resist that change. We cling to what we love and fear losing it. We chase what we want and despair when it fades away. The Buddha called this truth anicca, the law of impermanence. It is not a curse, it is liberation. When you embrace impermanence, you stop holding life hostage. You learn to love deeply, but without chains. You learn to appreciate moments for what they are: fleeting, fragile, beautiful. The leaf does not curse the wind for carrying it away. It simply dances until it lands. So too, when you understand impermanence, you stop fighting the flow. You realize that everything, every ending, every loss, every uncertainty is part of the great unfolding. Those who accept this truth carry a peace that cannot be shaken. They do not panic when things fall apart, because they know that falling apart is how things transform. They do not cling when life changes, because they have learned to flow, and people feel that energy. When you live with the quiet strength of acceptance, you no longer chase respect. You radiate it, because peace itself commands reverence. Lesson 4. Non-attachment. Freedom from the chains of wanting. We live in a world that tells us happiness is something to chase. A person, a position, a possession. But the harder we chase, the emptier we feel. The fourth lesson of Buddhism teaches a paradox. Freedom begins when we stop clinging. Non-attachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you love without trying to own. You give without expecting anything in return. You walk through life with open hands, not clutching, not grasping, just holding gently what is here. Attachment says, I can't live without this. Wisdom says, I will love it while it's here. When you practice non-attachment, you realize that the more you hold on, the more you suffer. But when you let go, life starts flowing again. The Buddha compared attachment to a rope around the heart. The tighter you pull, the more it hurts. Letting go doesn't mean losing. It means trusting that what is meant for you will stay, and what leaves was never yours to keep. When you live this way, people sense your calm. They feel your peace, your quiet confidence. They respect you, not because you demand loyalty, but because you embody freedom. To live without clinging is to live with grace. Lesson 5. Right speech. Words as bridges or weapons. Words are powerful. They can build worlds or burn them down. The Buddha taught that right speech is one of the pillars of the Noble Eightfold Path, because how we speak reflects what we carry within. Every word we say either plants peace or spreads poison. Before speaking, ask yourself, is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Most conflicts in life don't come from swords. They come from tongues that forgot their purpose. Right speech is not about being silent all the time. It's about speaking with intention. When your words come from awareness, they carry healing. When they come from ego, they carry harm. There's a saying, speak only if your words are more beautiful than silence. When you speak with clarity and kindness, people listen differently. They lean in. They feel safe, because they know your words are not weapons. They are truth, delivered with love. You will never need to raise your voice to be respected when your speech carries wisdom. Your tone will become your teacher. Your calm will become your authority. Remember, silence, when chosen wisely, can say more than 1,000 words. Lesson 6. Patience, the strength of stillness. In our fast, restless world, patience has become rare and therefore sacred. We want everything now: results, recognition, healing, peace. But the universe does not rush, and yet everything unfolds in perfect time. Patience is not passive. It is the quiet confidence that life knows what it's doing. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. You water it, you wait, you trust. That's patience. The Buddha compared impatience to shaking a cup of muddy water. The more you shake, the murkier it gets. If you let it settle, The water clears on its own. Patience teaches you to stop forcing and start allowing, to wait without anxiety, to understand that peace doesn't come from getting what you want. It comes from trusting the rhythm of things. Every great change in your life happens slowly, like dawn breaking after a long night. You don't rush the sun to rise. You wait, you breathe, and you witness. People who possess patience command deep respect because their energy is unshakable. They don't react to chaos. They anchor it. They don't panic in uncertainty. They create stability simply by existing calmly. Patience gives you dignity. It turns frustration into wisdom, waiting into strength, and delay into trust. And that quiet power, the kind that doesn't shout, doesn't demand, doesn't rush, is the kind that earns the deepest respect of all. Lesson 7. Gratitude, the art of seeing the miraculous in the ordinary. Gratitude is the quiet doorway to abundance, not abundance of things, but abundance of spirit. It's easy to say thank you when life gives us what we want. The real practice begins when life gives us challenges instead. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means learning to see beauty even inside imperfection. The Buddha taught that suffering and joy are not opposites. They are two petals on the same flower. Without one, the other cannot bloom. So be thankful not just for the sunlight, but for the rain that makes the earth alive. Be thankful not just for love, but for the pain that taught you how to love more deeply. Be thankful not just for those who stayed, but for those who left and showed you how to stand alone. When gratitude fills your heart, everything changes. You stop chasing what's missing and start cherishing what's here. You stop asking, "Why me?" and start whispering, "Thank you for this lesson." A grateful heart is magnetic. People are drawn to it because it radiates peace. And that kind of peace, quiet, sincere, unpretentious, commands a respect that no title ever could. Lesson 8. Self-reflection. Meeting the truth. Within, it's easy to see others clearly. It's harder to turn the mirror toward ourselves. But the 8th lesson, self-reflection, teaches that growth begins with honest seeing. Every emotion, every reaction, every habit is a message from within. Anger says, "There's something you still need to heal." Fear says, "You're standing at the edge of transformation." Jealousy says, "You've forgotten your own light." The practice of self-reflection is not self-criticism. It's self-compassion with clarity. It's looking at your own patterns with gentle honesty, not shame. Take time each day to sit quietly and observe. How did I speak today? What did I give my energy to? Did I act from love or from fear? The goal isn't to judge yourself, but to understand yourself. The Buddha said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." If you want to change your life, you must first learn to see your mind clearly. Self-reflection is like cleaning a dusty mirror. The more often you do it, the more truth it reflects. When you truly know yourself, your strengths, your wounds, your patterns, you no longer seek validation. You become authentic, grounded, humble, and authenticity in any room commands respect effortlessly. Because people can sense truth, they recognize it like a heartbeat. Lesson 9. Humility. The beauty of an open heart. True strength is quiet. True wisdom bows. Humility is not about making yourself small. It's about seeing clearly that you are part of something vast and sacred. When you are humble, you no longer need to prove yourself. You no longer need to win every argument or always be right. You allow life to teach you every single day. The arrogant say, I already know. The humble say, I am still learning. And that difference opens every door. The Buddha himself, though enlightened, spoke with simplicity and gentleness. He taught that pride closes the mind, while humility opens it wide enough for wisdom to enter. Humility doesn't mean weakness. It's spiritual maturity. It's the ability to stay calm when others criticize, to admit when you're wrong, to celebrate others' successes without envy. People are drawn to humble souls because humility is rare. It brings comfort, not competition. It feels like still water, calm, deep, and reflective. When you walk through the world with humility, you move differently. Your presence says, I'm here not to impress, but to connect. And that simple truth makes others respect you in the most genuine way, not for what you have, but for who you are. Lesson 10. Right livelihood. Living with integrity. The Buddha taught that the way we make our living is part of our spiritual path, because what we do, and how we do it, shapes who we become. Right livelihood doesn't simply mean having a job that pays the bills. It means earning your living in a way that brings peace to your heart and not harm to others. Ask yourself, does my work nourish or deplete me? Does it uplift or exploit? Does it serve something greater than myself? You don't need to be a monk or a healer to live with integrity. You can be a teacher, an artist, a builder, a parent. What matters is the energy you bring to what you do. Right. Livelihood means being conscious that your actions ripple out into the world. Every honest effort, every kind intention, every moment of patience adds to that ripple. When your work aligns with your values, you no longer feel divided. You stop wearing masks. You stop feeling empty after success. Because now, your outer world reflects your inner truth. The most respected people aren't the wealthiest. They're the ones whose presence makes others feel safe, inspired, and uplifted. That is the power of right livelihood, to live in a way that allows you to look in the mirror and feel peace. Lesson 11. Forgiveness, the liberation of the heart. The final lesson is perhaps the hardest and the most freeing. Forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about saying what happened was okay. It's about saying, I refuse to carry this pain any longer. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. We think it protects us, but it only keeps us chained to the past. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing peace over punishment. Sometimes the person you need to forgive isn't someone else. It's you. For the things you didn't know, for the mistakes you made while you were still learning, for the times you couldn't love yourself enough. When you forgive, you don't erase the past. You release its grip on the present. Your heart becomes lighter. Your mind becomes clearer. And suddenly, space opens up for peace to enter. The Buddha said, holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it. You are the one who gets burned. True forgiveness is a sacred act of strength. It's the moment you take your power back, not from others, but from the pain itself. And people who live with that kind of softness and courage are impossible not to respect, because they show what real strength looks like. Not control, not dominance, but peace. Closing reflection. The way of true respect. The journey of these 11 lessons is not about becoming untouchable. It's about becoming unshakable, not by building walls, but by cultivating roots. Respect doesn't come from commanding others. It arises naturally when you master yourself, your thoughts, your words, your actions, your heart. A mindful person commands attention without speaking. A compassionate soul softens the hardest of hearts. A patient mind brings peace to chaos. A forgiving heart heals the invisible wounds of the world. To be truly respected, you don't need power, perfection, or wealth. You need presence, kindness, and consistency. When you embody peace, you become peace. And peace, wherever it goes, changes everything around it. So walk gently, speak truthfully, give freely, love deeply, and when life shakes you, as it always will, return to these teachings. Remember, you cannot control the world, but you can choose how you move within it. And that choice, made moment by moment, breath by breath, is what turns ordinary living into sacred living. This is the way of Buddhist wisdom. This is the way of true respect.